Hey guys.
So, I have to admit, sometimes it's really hard for me to make a video, and it's not that I feel forced to make videos. There are just a lot of things, a lot of transitions that a lot of people are going through, and maybe anybody who can relate to, either giving up or losing their employment, or or deciding that they want to change their life completely or drastically, or even just being able to integrate, our old lifestyle into this new lifestyle. Maybe there are all different kinds of ways that we can, relate and not relate to these changes in life. But if you are going through a transition similar to mine, I'll explain a little bit. I was working. I've worked 9 to 5 jobs my entire life. When I was in my 20s, I thought about, and I feel like it was the beginning of a spiritual awakening. So a lot of these things that I've been experiencing are also have to do with a spiritual awakening. But in my early 20s, I feel like I was beginning a spiritual awakening. And what happened to me in my 20s was I just wanted to go back in time, like live the lifestyle of, living off the land, building your own home with the land, and also, taking that time to plant your own food, have chickens and cows, and, just having that. It was just a desire of mine, like, and it just hit me one day in my early 20s, and I said, this is how we're supposed to live. This is what, that was just, and I just went back in time. And, and my family, they're very supportive. They're like, oh, Heidi, just, get a really good job, and save your money so you can, have this, and, work really hard, and, things like that. And of course, that was what we grew up learning. So that's exactly what I did. I worked the 9 to 5 job. Um, my work ethic, uh, I have to say, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but my work ethic was actually rather good, and my all of my employers that I've ever had rewarded me, and I ended up getting raises often and promotions often. But even then, I still was not making enough money to save and take vacations. And, they counted on me to be there because I had more responsibility. So, I had to be there. So then I have a responsibility at work and don't have time to plan these things, like maybe once a year vacation. And growing up, being a kid, I've always, always, always had this passion and desire to explore and discover. I was always really curious and, pretty active too. So, I mean, if you got me climbing mountains or, riding bikes or something, I would be, just physically, athletically skilled as well. So, I had, all these just, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn, like I really, like I had a good work ethic. I'm naturally athletic, being able to climb and, things like that. Baseball was, I mean, 3 coaches. I'm not trying to brag so much, but 3 coaches in middle school and high school actually stopped the gym baseball game just to ask me why I wasn't playing baseball, and because I was a good hitter, and anyway, so I embedded all these skills, but the kind of work that I did, uh, just saw those skills, but it gave me more responsibility that kept me tied down to the job. So and I did that for years and still didn't, wasn't able to take a vacation, like an actual vacation. And yeah, I could have spent my money other ways, but I'm paying rent, car insurance, all these other, my energy bills, utility bills, and, things like that, food. And, at the end, you have what, not that much left to save over, I mean, you have to have it fall into the next month to pay for something else. At least that's how it was for me. And even though I did work really hard, I worked really, really hard. at every job that I did and invested a lot of time. And yeah, I do feel the training was necessary. Of course, when we have job training, it's necessary to have in our lives. But when you get to a certain point in your life, when you're ready for, the ultimate responsibility and, you know, and really, what is that? What is the responsibility? So that was something that I've been trying to research and just start hanging out with the universe a little bit more, and because you hear a lot, you know. So taking back, let me go back a little bit. So I had another spiritual awakening, and I really feel like that's what it was, and it was during COVID, because I ended up getting sick, and it was before we really knew a whole lot about it. From what we heard, this was like from the very beginning. That people were getting sick and dying from, and I ended up getting sick, and I just felt like, what, maybe this is my time. Maybe this is my time. And so um, and the way that I felt sick was I was just standing there and I just could not stand anymore. I just felt just, like just exhausted. And maybe that could have, been what it was, just being exhausted. So anyway, I went through this process of not feeling like I was going to make it. And instead of panicking, I accepted it. I accepted that with life comes death, and if this was my time, I had to embrace it and just be present in the moment. And my kids were with me at the time that I was sick, so this was a little more emotional, but I didn't want to scare my kids. So I just said, hey, mommy's not feeling well, and I slept for 5 hours, just solid, just couldn't even get up. And the girls were really patient, during that process. And when I woke up, I was like a completely new person. Like after accepting it and surrendering was the thing that I did. I surrendered, and embraced a part of life, which is also death, and finding peace in that. And when I woke up a whole new person. But then I wanted to go back again. I wanted to go back in time. It just felt like somewhere a big part of me belonged somewhere back there, and I can't explain what it was, what it is yet. What called me back, and I thought I was going out of my mind. Um, so um, so now that I'm starting this new journey, I was like, you know what, I can't go back to the 9 to 5. I need to find something different, which, started me on this whole new journey of just taking the last $30 that I had in my wallet, filling up the gas tank, and driving as far as I could until I couldn't drive anymore. And, when you lose your job, or, that's another story. And I'm sorry my story is so scattered right now, because there's a whole lot to it. Um, as far as spiritual awakenings, people going through this transition, what I've done to change my life, even though, things are not exactly how I want them to be right now. But as far as, what you throw out there and what the universe is bringing back to you, I mean, there's been a lot of synchronies that I've been experiencing as well. So I know, I was going through this stage where I thought I was completely insane, but then the further and farther I, leap out there into the universe, into the unknown, the more comes back to me, and the more that has come back to me has been really cool. I'm not saying that there hasn't been a struggle, because yes, there has definitely been a struggle as well, which, I will eventually share with you guys those things as well. And as far as our education system, we're going to need some more answers on, what we can do to educate our children with all these changes, and, maybe possibilities that can work for some parents. Um, and then anybody who has lost their job and feel, maybe they might feel a little helpless, you're not alone. And, there are, we're going to come up with some solutions. So, that is my mom, and my van is my workstation. And if I'm in the house, they knock on the door sometimes, and in my van they're like, you know what, this is Heidi's workstation, we can't bother her, but they just pulled up. It's great talking to you guys. This is a long video. It was probably really scattered and really random. I'm really, with this whole new YouTube channel and everything like that, I feel like it'll start falling into place eventually. So thank you for your patience. You guys take care, and I will see you soon.